Chào các bạn, tôi đang đứng ở bên cạnh bờ sông Mississippi, dòng sông dài thứ hai ở Bắc Mỹ. Và đây là con sông gắn liền với thành phố New Orleans, một thành phố được người Pháp thành lập vào năm 1718. Sau đó thì thuộc quyền sở hữu của người Tây Ban Nha. Sau đó người Tây Ban Nha lại trả lại cho người Pháp. Và vào năm 1803, người Mỹ đã mua lại người Pháp với giá chỉ có 15 triệu đô la. 15 triệu đô la cho thành phố này. Có phải là chăng là một con số đắt đỏ hay là một con số rất hời? Vậy bây giờ mời quý vị và các bạn đi tham quan thành phố 15 triệu đô la. Mời các bạn theo dõi. Đây là cây cầu nổi tiếng dẫn vào thành phố New Orleans. Và hồi nãy thì tôi đi phía kia, đó là một cây cầu dài, rất là dài, mình chưa biết tên, nối qua vịnh Mexico. Và đây là dòng sông Mississippi, một trong hai con sông dài nhất nước Mỹ các bạn. Con sông này với một con sông nữa tôi nhớ, mình chưa tra thông tin, nhưng mà biết một trong hai con sông dài nhất nước Mỹ. Sông cũng rất là sạch, đẹp. Quay lại cho các bạn xem nha. Ở đây thì người Pháp sống rất là nhiều. Kiến trúc là của Pháp, tại vì thành phố của người Pháp thành lập, và do đó là người Pháp người ta đã xây dựng được cái thành phố này. Có nhiều người Pháp đang cư trú ở đây, gốc Pháp cư trú ở đây, và cũng có nhiều người da đen, nhiều người da màu gốc Phi, là những người nô lệ đi phục dịch cho những gia đình người Pháp, và họ đã định cư ở đây khá là lâu. Và đây là một thành phố cổ hơn 300 năm. Tôi và cháu Chí sẽ đi tham quan thành phố này. Chí nó đang lấy máy chụp hình đã chụp. Dài, thật là dài. Dài quá trời không? Kêu gì ta? cây cầu vàng và Francisco đúng không?
Yeah.
Cái cổng vàng á.
Cổng vàng. Yeah, Golden Gate. Cái cổng đó là mình thấy mình đi tới đó mình chụp hình cũng khó thì kẹt xe hoài. Du lịch nhiều, khách du lịch nhiều.
Kẹt xe để chạy ngang qua đó quay clip về chụp hình.
Nhưng mà chỗ đó cho xuống xe luôn. Chú có đi chỗ đó tới cái mùa này, mùa hè đi ở San Fran kỳ lắm, giống như nó mát lắm. Khí hậu nó mát, như nó là một cái
nằm trong tiểu bang của Cali mà.
Nó một cái bè.
Nó làm cái của ai của tiểu bang Cali. Vùng biển
đẹp, San Fran đẹp.
Cầu vàng là nổi tiếng nhất của San Francisco. Cái đó là gì? Las Vegas hả? Las Vegas gần đó hả?
Las Vegas không
tiểu
có
bang
gần.
khác chứ?
Không có gần nữa.
Không gần. Giờ mới vô tới bờ, giờ mới hết cây cầu. Tắt rồi. Trung tâm của nó chắc ở mấy chỗ có building này, người ta building. Đây là thành phố New Orleans. Và thành phố này được người Pháp thành lập vào năm 1781. Thành phố cổ các bạn. Đây. Phong cách kiến trúc cổ. Và mình đang đi đến cái quán cà phê Bourbon, chắc là nằm ở ngoài bờ hồ hay gì đó, đẹp quá, giống ý châu Âu. Và cái thành phố này thì sau đó thuộc về người Tây Ban Nha, sau đó trả lại cho Pháp, người Pháp quản lý. Và đến năm 1803 thì Hoa Kỳ đã mua lại cái thành phố này với giá 15 triệu đô la, quá rẻ. Thành phố New Orleans thuộc tiểu bang Louisiana, thuộc miền Nam của nước Mỹ. $15 triệu cho cái thành phố này. Tính thời giá lúc bấy giờ chắc so với bây giờ nó khoảng chừng chắc 100 triệu, vài trăm triệu đô la. Và hồi xưa người Pháp người ta sống ở đây rất là nhiều. Rồi có các nô lệ da đen nữa. Những dãy phố cổ đặc trưng của châu Âu, đặc trưng của người Pháp. Kiến trúc của Pháp thì rất là đẹp. Bên đây là cỏ này vẫn được giữ nguyên này. còn thời gian ở lại đây đêm Chí ha, đi chơi.
Ở đây nghe nói tối là đường
Đông hay đâu đi bộ?
đông hết, đi bộ. Xong rồi có một đường được đi bộ ra ngoài đường, cầm rượu đi bộ.
Cầm rượu đi bộ ra ngoài đường uống hả? Này đúng là thành phố du lịch luôn, thành phố cỏ luôn, quá đẹp luôn. Sắp tới cà phê Bourbon. Đây thực ra có rất nhiều quán cà phê đẹp, nhưng mà cà phê Bourbon có lẽ là nổi tiếng nhất ở đây. Giờ hai chú cháu sẽ đến cà phê Bourbon. Ở đây chắc người ta nói được tiếng Pháp à?
Suy nghĩ có người biết nói, có người không biết.
Bonjour, monsieur, madame.
Cái đường này nó đông rồi.
Hãy thưởng thức mùi vị kẹt xe. Có lẽ đường nó nhỏ quá, xe nó đậu kẹt á. Mấy xe lớn nó vào là cái xe tải nó đang đó. À, đây là phố đi bộ. Có lẽ là mình chạy ra đây một đoạn xong mình phải gửi xe, mình đi bộ chơi coi. Đẹp quá. Lát nữa mình đi dạo ở quảng trường đây nè. Kiếm chỗ gửi xe đi.
Lái xe nhỏ ở đây là ok.
Xe của Chí ở đây là ok. Rồi rẽ theo nó luôn. Nó đậu xe được nè. Ở bên Nepal á, có những cái thành phố cổ 700-800 năm á, đẹp lắm. Châu Âu thì những thành phố cổ, những thành phố như thế này có mấy trăm năm thôi.
Tiệm cà phê ở đây.
Tới chưa?
Đây.
Không, mình ấy đi, mình cứ đậu xe đây thôi, kiếm chỗ đỗ xe đi. Hình như bữa nay nó đậu bên kia, bên đây không được đậu. Có lẽ là cà phê Bourbon đây nè, ngoài đây nè. Bây giờ là 12 giờ tới 12 giờ 45 1 trưa mà người ta đi chơi rất là đông. Có xe ngựa luôn rồi. Dễ thương không? Chút nữa hai chị cháu mình đi xe ngựa chơi. Chỗ đậu xe. Parking à? Ok, vô đây đi. Đây, vô đây luôn. Đậu ngoài nắng cũng được.
Chạy thẳng.
Chạy thẳng cũng được. Đây là xe điện Xe điện cổ các bạn. Và đây là nhà ga xe điện. Nhà ga này có lẽ là đã có từ thời Pháp rồi, từ thời năm 1718 á. Nhà ga rất là cổ. Những công trình kiến trúc ở đây đều mang phong cách của người Pháp. Đi đến mỗi tiểu bang của nước Mỹ các bạn, thì cái cách họ làm nhà ở cũng rất là khác nhau. Và khi mà tôi đến Louisiana hay là đến thành phố New Orleans này thì mình thấy là nhà người ta làm rất là thấp, nhỏ, không như nhà ở Texas hay không như nhà ở Atlanta, mà thường làm nhà khá là nhỏ bé và thấp. Bây giờ chúng ta sẽ đi vào khám phá thành phố cổ này. Khu này là buổi tối có sân khấu ngoài trời này, phố đi bộ. Trời rất là nắng. Nhiệt độ bây giờ vào khoảng chừng 45 độ. 45 độ C các bạn nhé. Rất là nóng luôn. Tôi đang đi tìm quán cà phê Bourbon Coffee. Cà phê này cà phê gì đây? Các cái tên đường ở đây cũng là tên đường của người Pháp. Và thành phố này được lấy tên của công tước, một công tước của người Pháp là công tước Orleans, để đặt tên cho thành phố này. Và bây giờ nó là New Orleans, thuộc tiểu bang Louisiana. Fan Market, chợ Pháp, chợ đường phố, chợ Pháp rồi. Ở đây buổi tối rất là vui. Đi chị ơi, cái quán Bourbon đâu, tìm thấy chưa? Cái quán cà phê chú Hiền chị thấy chưa?
Dạ.
Thấy chưa? Thấy quán cà phê đâu?
Phải ngừng ở đây.
Nó ngừng đây hả?
Mới đi trả xe trước.
Hả?
Cô mới đi trả tiền xe trước.
À, trả tiền xe. Bây giờ xong chưa? Nhưng mà cái cà phê Bourbon đâu?
Ở qua đó.
À, ok, đi qua đó đi. Đây là một cái tòa nhà, cái dãy phố cổ mà người nhặt rác thôi, nhìn cũng rất là lịch sự, nhìn cũng rất là nghệ sĩ. Đa số cư dân địa phương ở đây là người gốc Pháp, người local ở đây là người gốc Pháp. Các bạn thấy không? Nhặt rác cũng phải phong cách nha, đừng giỡn. Đẹp, ăn mặc rất là lịch sự. Thấy ông đi nhặt rác mà ông mặc đồ đẹp ghê không? Mốt ghê không? Nữ trang. Cà phê Bourbon rồi. Ok. Cà phê. Túi. Nhưng mà không có bán cà phê tại chỗ hả?
Không, tại cái cà phê này nó là nổi tiếng ở Mỹ, là cái hiệu, cái brand của nó bán hết nước Mỹ luôn.
Thế nhưng mà không có ấy hả? Không có bán cho mình xài hả? Mình uống liền hả? Bên kia hả?
Yeah, rồi đi.
À, ok.
Cái này là
Tiệm cà phê đó.
Wednesday too. Wednesday too. We won't go back to Tuesday. I thought they were working so I think I'm looking into my thing.
Và bây giờ chúng tôi đã đến quán cà phê Bourbon. Quán cà phê này được thành lập vào năm 1862, tức là sau 59 năm. 59 năm ngày Hoa Kỳ mua lại thành phố này từ tay của người Pháp với giá 15 triệu đô. Và quán cà phê này được một gia đình gốc Pháp thành lập và kinh doanh từ đó cho đến nay. Quán mở cửa 24/7. Chỉ có vào dịp Tết và Giáng sinh thì quán mới nghỉ. Và quán cà phê này có một sản phẩm đặc trưng, chỉ bán duy nhất một loại cà phê, đó là cà phê pha với hương vị chicory, một cái hương vị truyền thống ở Pháp. Và chỉ bán duy nhất một loại bánh, đó là bánh baguette. Và từ đó nó đã trở thành một cái thương hiệu rất nổi tiếng của thành phố New Orleans, cũng như là quán cà phê này. Và đây là một ban nhạc người da đen đang biểu diễn. Họ là những con cháu của những người nô lệ đã từng đến đây để phục vụ những gia đình, những quý tộc người Pháp. Thành phố này được đặt tên theo tên gọi của một vị công tước Pháp, đó là công tước Orleans. Và chúng tôi vừa nghe một ban nhạc biểu diễn. Ở trong đây thì thực khách khá là đông vào lúc 14 giờ địa phương. Rất là nắng nóng, nhiệt độ khoảng 45 độ. Nhưng mà thực khách ngồi khá là đông. Và vào đây chỉ có gọi duy nhất là gọi món thôi, và người ta sẽ đưa ra những món này. Và ai cũng ăn như chúng tôi cả. Ai cũng ăn như chúng tôi hết. Và cái bánh này các bạn, nó giống như là cái bánh tiêu á, giống như y chang bánh tiêu ở Việt Nam thôi. Và cái bột trắng trắng này là đường á, đường nhưng mà nó không quá ngọt. Nhưng mà tôi ăn thì cũng thấy ngọt quá. Nó để rải đường bên trên vậy. Và bên trong nó là một loại bánh tiêu mà pha bột đặc thôi, không khác gì cả. Như vậy thì ở Việt Nam chúng ta có thể sản xuất được cái bánh này. Nhưng những người bán bánh tiêu có thể nghiên cứu để sản xuất cái loại bánh này, một loại bánh đặc trưng mà lấy tên là bánh baguette, có thể bán cho du khách được. Cà phê thì hương vị rất là đặc biệt, nó nhạt nhạt, chua chua, khá là ngon. Còn bánh này thì thực sự là ăn cho có ăn thôi, chứ nó không có ngon lành gì cho lắm các bạn. Tuy nhiên đến một vùng nào đó, một nơi nào đó, một địa phương nào đó thì chúng ta nên ăn những loại thức ăn truyền thống của địa phương để chúng ta thưởng thức. Mặc dù nó không được ngon lắm, nhưng mà đừng câu nệ chuyện đó, bởi vì đó là hương vị, là bản sắc của vùng miền. Qua tới cà phê Bourbon này gặp chị Hường này.
Chị chụp một cái để chị gửi.
Rồi chị chụp đi. Trong này có bao nhiêu nhân viên người Việt?
Chắc phải đến mấy chục người.
Mấy chục người luôn á. Gặp lại chị sau nha.
Ok.
Dạ.
Dạ. Em ở đâu?
Em này ở dưới không, ở dưới Metro Big. Đây đa số là nhân viên. Em đi nhá. Đây số nhân viên là người Việt các bạn. Thế mình đang đi thì chị này chị nhận ra, chị nói là chị là người Việt. À con ngựa gì đó đi. Chắc nó cũng chỉ chở mình đi một vòng thôi. Đi bên đây cho mát nữa. Mấy con ngựa ở đây giống ngựa ở đây nó bự lắm. New Orleans. Đây nè, lịch sử thành phố này. Persia and Indian, Portuguese, Content and Behavior 1718 nem in honor on Đức Orleans thuộc về Pháp. Mitsubishi. Ban nhạc này nổi tiếng luôn, được vẽ tranh luôn. Chị đâu ta? Đi trước rồi. Chị ơi, chị ơi. Đây có lẽ là Bá Tước. Công viên tượng đài của Bá Tước Auckland quá. Những con ngựa đây rất là cao to. Ngựa rất là to, ngựa kéo xe. Wow. Okay. Woo.
Well, if you get on, I at least need to get one or two more before we can go.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. We'll leave.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your ticket.
At the end, you can do credit card, cash, or debit card, whatever you prefer. So either
Right
the
together,
first
okay.
row or the back row,
okay,
whatever
okay.
you like. You can.
I'm waiting for a call, and I don't want to disturb. I'm waiting for a call. So if you want to move forward, I don't want to disturb. You know, if she's going to start
Okay,
talking,
so.
she's going to talk.
It's a narrated tour.
Yeah, it's a narrated talk. So
When I take-
It's history, architecture.
No, no.
Here, so you can hear it. I don't want to. I'm going to hear her, but if I get a call, I got to answer. So I'm. Yeah, sorry.
No
Sorry.
problem.
Hmm?
It's wherever. If you
Okay,
want,
okay.
you can be in the.
You can be in the front if you want.
Did you want me to take a picture of y'all on the carriage?
No,
Want me to take a
no,
photograph?
no, thầy, no, thầy,
No?
no, thầy. I make video rồi. Okay.
Oh, Mama, you're looking good.
How much one ticket? 30 đồng. Okay.
All right. Well, you'll have to tell me what your secret is at the end of the tour, okay? I want to know.
You control?
Beautiful.
Yes.
Vietnam.
I'm going to talk about history, architecture, the culture of the city. Point out restaurant shops, gas clubs,
Beautiful. Spirit. You know Spirit?
You want to go too, ladies? We're fixing to leave. We're doing a 30-minute tour. Okay.
The ancient ladies and all that is mostly the food is cheap. Housing is cheap.
Last call, folks. Sightseeing tour.
I got a friend that works at the agenda.
Something is happening in Vietnam now. Are you guys fighting with someone?
Yeah.
That's between Thailand and Myanmar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, but I thought I heard something about
Near
Vietnam.
Thailand đi làm. Yeah.
Ma'am,
Vietnamese.
this was-
Do you know Vietnamese?
You want it?
Oh, no.
It's close.
À,
I
vui
mean-
vui.
Yeah, I'm,
Okay,
I'm
okay, I
not
see,
going
I
to
see.
drink on the tour. I'll be too busy driving and talking, but thank you. Anybody else want to go?
Already?
Last call? All right, you guys, you ready?
Okay, already?
I'm a motor mouth. I do not stop talking on the tour, so whenever you have questions, interrupt me. Otherwise, you will not get a word in edgewise. Now we're starting off at Jackson Square, which is over on your right. Front and
Yes.
center of the square on the great pedestal. That's a
Yes.
30,000-pound bronze statue of Mr. Andrew Jackson. He was our 7th president and the hero of the Battle of New Orleans. In that famous battle, folks, we kicked 2,000 British butts and only 7 Americans died in the process. The beautiful church behind Mr. Jackson is the beloved St. Louis Cathedral. Move it up! Now, folks, that
Let's go.
church is the oldest active cathedral. Come on, Elvis.
Come on.
Of any religion in the United States today. You have until 5 o'clock to take a free tour inside. It's absolutely gorgeous. The stained glass windows tell you the story of King Louis IX of France. He was the only French king made a saint by the Catholic Church. They have Sistine Chapel-like frescoes on the ceiling and exquisite European statues. Folks, that church became a minor basilica in 1987 when
Yeah.
Pope John Paul II said Mass inside its doors. And when the Pope came to New Orleans, the crowds that came out to see him were every bit as big as the Mardi Gras parade crowds, thousands and thousands of folks. Now, the two most important words I can teach you on the tour
Yeah.
are Creole and Cajun. Those were the two cultures that made Louisiana different from the rest of the United States. The word Creole is a Spanish word. It means firstborn generation of a colony. So we were a colony of France, then a colony of Spain, then a colony of France, all before we were sold to the United States in the Louisiana Purchase. If you were born to your parents in that colonial time period, the cultures living here were French, Spanish, African, Haitian, from the Caribbean Isles, Irish, German, Portuguese, and all the different Native American tribes. Any of those cultures having a baby together, married or unmarried, the baby was a Creole. Now the word Cajun,
Nova Scotia.
oh yeah, the Cajun people.
Right.
So they lived here for 100 years, totally peaceful, and then the British won that land as spoils of war. When they came to claim it, they kicked the Acadians out because the Acadians were Catholic. Now, no way, Jose, were they going to convert from Catholicism to the Church of England, so they would not sign an allegiance to a Protestant king. For that reason, they were sent into exile. The lucky ones settled 2 hours west of New Orleans by car today. Towns like Lafayette, Breaux Bridge, New Iberia, and Thibodaux. That's where you'll find the best in Cajun music, food, dancing, and culture.
Wow.
Now, across the street, that lighthouse, that is the ticket
Yeah.
office for the steamboat Natchez. That boat takes you 8 miles downriver to where they fought the Battle of New Orleans. 7 o'clock at night, they do 5 courses of Creole cuisine with Dixieland jazz to dance to. The wall that separates the boats from the cars, that is a real floodgate. Where I'm driving you, this is considered high land, and we're only 3 feet above sea level.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding whatsoever. The highest point of land in the city is Monkey Hill at Audubon Zoo, 10 feet above sea level. 80% of the city of New Orleans can be as low as 10 to 25 feet below sea level. That is exactly why you saw people wading, swimming, and climbing up their houses during Hurricane Katrina. Now, if you would keep walking along the river going in this direction, you have the Aquarium of the Americas, the IMAX Theater, the Riverwalk Outlet Mall, and Blaine Kern's Mardi Gras World. the only Mardi Gras float museum in the United States. Now, when we have Mardi Gras, that's 56 parades in 2 months' time. Each one of those parades has between 20 to 40 floats. So you're going to check out over 1,000 floats when you walk inside. You can watch them make new floats step by step. You can go into the artist studio and watch them draw new ideas for next year's parades. Raise your hands for me if you've tried a poor boy sandwich.
I have to try one today.
Okay, well, Johnny's actually invented them. In 1951, this was a mom and pop grocery store. The owner took pity on streetcar drivers involved in a citywide strike. He took the cheapest stuff he had to feed them. A French loaf of bread, French fries on top, sloppy roast beef gravy, sold them for 5 cents to the poor boys, the strikers. And that's how the sandwich really got the name. Just past this wooden wall, just past this wooden wall, we have an amazing school of cooking. Now, I've done 3 out of 12 classes here. Most popular class, they teach you to make gumbo, jambalaya, bread pudding, and pralines. You get to eat everything you make in the class and take the recipes home. If you do not feel like cooking in the kitchen, they have a marvelous shop with hot sauces, mixes, spices, and every Creole and Cajun cookbook known to man. The off-white building on your left, I'm sorry to tell you, that was the city's first slave exchange. The slave trade started here in 1788. They would groom the slaves inside this building, give them medical examinations, and then sell them off the auction block. The popular building on our right-hand corner is the famous Napoleon House. Now, in 1821, it was the home of Mayor Nicholas Giroux. He offered sanctuary to Napoleon Bonaparte here. He had the 3rd floor apartments built for Napoleon. Now, the mayor was going to send the Lafitte Pirate brothers to rescue Napoleon from exile, but Napoleon contracted syphilis and died like the dog that he was before he made it to New Orleans. Today, one half of the house, a cheap cafe and bar, the other half of the house, a courtyard bistro. And the only reason why I compare Napoleon to a dog is just like your dog back at home. No matter how many treats you give your dog, it's never enough. No matter how much land Napoleon grabbed, it was never enough. He wanted the whole world. On our left is our Louisiana State Supreme Court House. If it looks familiar to you, all the courtroom scenes were filmed inside it for the movie Runaway Jury with Dustin Hoffman, Gene Hackman, Rachel Weisz, and John Cusack. Louisiana is one of only 2 states in the Union where the state Supreme Court House is outside the state's capital city. The other state is Colorado. They're parishes. Yeah, so you're in Orleans Parish right now. Yeah, it's just a French word, you know, instead of an English word, that's all. Now, if you look both ways down Royal Street, this was one of the top 3 shopping streets in the United States before Hurricane Katrina. On Royal Street, you find the best antique shops, art galleries, jewelry stores, cigar shops, boutiques, whatever your heart can desire, you will find on Royal Street. More of the heftier price shops are down towards Canal Street. When I say hefty, I mean places that sell things like Napoleon's desk or Marilyn Monroe's diamond stud earrings. To your right is Antoine's, our oldest restaurant. They're also the 3rd oldest restaurant in the United States. They've been around since 1840. They are famous for 3 things. They are the people who invented Oysters Rockefeller in honor of J.D. Rockefeller's visit to the city. They make baked Alaska Vertu the size of an NFL football. Definitely the best dessert in New Orleans. And they have their very own Mardi Gras museum called the Rex Room. When you go inside, you see the crowns, the robes, and the scepters of the Mardi Gras kings, the tiaras, the ball gowns, and the orbs of the Mardi Gras queens. Now we're going to come up to Bourbon Street. Bourbon Street was not named for alcohol. It was actually named for the royal family of France, the Bourbon. And all these buildings have a courtyard, whether you can see it from the street or not. Many of them very beautiful. Right next door is the world famous Pat O'Brien's. Look through these doors as well. Another gorgeous courtyard. They invented the hurricane drink. They have dueling piano shows on the weekends. Casual courtyard restaurant in the back with a flaming brandy fountain that they light on fire every night. Now, if you want to listen to the crazy Cajun music, the Zydeco, best place to go for it. The crazy corner on your right. Zydeco sounds like polka music on steroids. It consists of a scrub or a washboard, an accordion, harmonica, and a fiddle. All the lyrics are sung in French, toe-tapping rhythm, upbeat tempo. And the brown building with the guitar case as a sign is the world-famous Preservation Hall. Now they do 4 traditional jazz shows in the evening, 5 o'clock contemporary music if you come in the evening, also misting fans to keep you cool. And then if you look to the right down Orleans Street, you'll see the Sacred Heart of Jesus statue. We call him Touchdown Jesus. At nighttime, they have floodlights at the base of the statue shining up. With his arms upraised, the shadow that he makes looks like a football field goal. Now, I always tease people and say, well, our Saints football team doesn't do too well, so we need all the divine intervention we can get. Oldest jazz club on Bourbon Street is on our left. This is Fritzl's European Jazz Pub. They play bootleg jazz from the Prohibition era. Bootleg jazz has sassier lyrics and a more upbeat tempo than Dixieland jazz.
Hello.
And then, folks, if you look to your left, down St. Anne Street, you'll see a white archway that says Armstrong Park, named for Louis Satchmo Armstrong, greatest jazz musician that ever lived. Before Mr. We're not going that way, baby. We're not going that way. Before Mr. Louis Armstrong was ever born, they called that area Congo Square. That is where slaves socialized and worshiped on Sunday. Slaves in Louisiana were under French law. They were baptized Catholic right off the boat and given Sunday off as a day of worship and rest. Nowhere else in the Deep South where slavery existed had a law like that. That's where we earned our nickname, the Big Easy, because the laws were more liberal and kind. Up to your left, big, beautiful wraparound gallery. That design is the acorn and the oak leaf. To make a pattern like that, or like the bottom of the gate here with the scroll work and the flowers, a blacksmith would pre-carve a mold, pour hot liquid iron into the mold, let it cool down, and pop it out. It's very lacy looking. Just like the scallop shells on the balcony to your left, or the grapevine pattern going up and down, and the fleur-de-lis pattern going across to your right on the second floor. Wrought iron is like this gate to your left with the curly cues. Plainer, more geometric. A blacksmith heats up a poker and tongs, bend shapes and twists iron rods to the pattern in his head. About 50 hours the man labored to make a gate like that.
What is this building here?
Just a plain Creole cottage. Now, that skinny building that's behind the cottage, I live in one of those.
Really?
Yes. In the 17 and 1800s, the top floor would have been the slave or servants' quarters. The bottom floor would actually be the kitchen. With our heat and humidity, you would never build the kitchen into the main house. Too sweltering and very dangerous because of the women's wide hoop skirts. Too easy for them to catch on fire when they turn around near a hearth or a fireplace. Great little place that's open for all the local dishes is Nola Poor Boys. So they have everything famous from crawfish pie, alligators, seafood gumbo, shrimp creole, soft shell crab when it's in season. Big portions, inexpensive, and seasoned very well. The house to your right is a beautiful double staircase, just like the old movie Gone with the Wind. Now, when they would have a baller party back in the day, one side of the stairs would be for the single ladies to go up, the other side for the single gentleman. If a young man caught a glimpse of a bare ankle or higher as the lady in front of him was ascending, that could be instant grounds for marriage in the very strict Catholic households of all New Orleans. Now, normally I park here at the corner and they'll come out and give you a cocktail. But as you can see, both of these vehicles are illegally parked. And the bad thing is, yeah, well, here's the other deal. She's letting out the school kids, so only the parents are allowed to go down the street. Yeah, I'm coming, baby. So I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you right now. So I'm sorry we won't be able to stop for you. But that's the oldest bar in the United States, Jean Lafitte's blacksmith shop. Now, in the evening, it's a wonderful piano bar. The man in the back, oldest bar, 1726. We weren't even in the United States yet, so that building is older. Well, we were. I mean, I can't make her tell the school buses to stop. But anyways, I know.
They gotta need their education.
We have to go have a drink there.
But it's 5 minutes from where you caught the carriage. So if you, from where you caught the carriage, go 3 blocks down to St. Philip, walk up to St. Philip, it's another 3 blocks to Bourbon. Now, Pirate Brothers owned that building. Their names were Jean and Pierre Lafitte. They would use the front of the building as a legitimate business, the blacksmith shop, to hide the fact that out the back door, illegally, they were selling slaves, guns, contraband, and ammunition. Now, well, there you go. Now, they were entrepreneurs, let's say it that way. Now, they were approached by the British before the famous Battle of New Orleans. Now, the British thought, oh hell, they're pirates. They'll do anything to make money. So they wanted the Lafittes to sell them their ammunition and maps. The Lafittes wouldn't do it because they were loyal to the Americans. They snuck off to rat on the British. They gave the United States military free ammunition, and in the end, they fought on the American side. And that is why Andrew Jackson went down in the history books saying he couldn't have won the Battle of New Orleans without their help. Hollywood made a great movie about the Lafittes. 1958, it was called The Buccaneer. Yul Brynner played Jean Lafitte. Charlton Heston played Andrew Jackson with a really bad haircut. But the movie is historically accurate as to what happened in New Orleans at the time. Do y'all see the very sharp icicle glass at the top of the wall to your right? They call that an IBU wall. Back in the 1800s, they would put the cut glass up to keep robbers from climbing over and robbing you blind. That is the sharper type. So if you saw the building back there with the little blue and glass bottle shards, that's not as typical as the really scary one right there. I'm going to show you 2 buildings that most people love to get photographs of. The first one is the old Spanish stables. Now, we were only a Spanish colony from 1762 to 1803, and in that time period, these stables were built. Now, today, they went the way of the world. They're overpriced condominiums, but when we get up to the stables, look through the gates. However, well, before the pandemic, they wanted $2,000 a month for 700 square feet.
Not bad.
It's not bad, but I mean, it's certainly not.
After COVID?
That was before COVID. Yeah, I never checked. I mean, I was interested in going and you know, purchasing one, but everyone that was there already owned, and they weren't looking to sell. But some of those people were renting it out. So that's why it was $2,000 a month for rent. They were making a low profit.
That's a house, right?
Yeah.
What
So
is
those are the stables. These 2 white buildings. So when we get up there, I'm going to stop. It's
But
really.
I'm just wondering, How much would a house like this cost?
A Creole townhome? I can make a guess, but here's the thing. When you're talking about all these old buildings, the real estate agent, they're going to say, okay, does it have the original parquet floors? Does it have central air instead of air conditioning? Does it have the original crown molding? Those are the stables right there. Does it have the original mantelpieces? Does it have built-in closets? Because those were not typical in New Orleans in the 17 and the 1800s.
Anywhere in the States.
Well, I mean, they
Anywhere in the
used
world.
wardrobes because they taxed people on how many
Capital,
doors
Span
were
Broken.
inside the house, right?
Hospital.
Those were the stables right there.
Yeah,
Aren't they
hospital.
beautiful though?
Yes, they
Yeah. So, and then they're going to ask you, is there a balcony? Is there a gallery? Is there a balcony and a gallery together? Is there a shed in the back? Is there a courtyard? Does the courtyard have a fountain? So all these things drive up the price. But if you're just looking for like a plain fixer-upper, a Creole townhouse, I think on the low end, you probably could get one in the French Quarter, which is the oldest part of the city, for $500,000. That's on the low end.
Okay.
And that's a fixer-upper. So, do y'all see this mansion here, this gray home? This was the home of what I call the biggest, baddest bitch in New Orleans history. The woman who owned this mansion, her name was Madame Delphine Lalaurie. Now, when she owned this building, that's not what her neighbors would have said about her. They would have told you she was the most beautiful, charming, richest woman in town. She loved to throw extravagant balls and parties with the best champagne, best food, and best music in the city. Because everybody had a good time at her house, they thought she was wonderful. Little did her neighbors know that behind closed doors, she was evil and sadistic. Whenever her slaves would not perform an order to a T, she would have them sent up to the third floor attic to be tortured, whipped, and starved to death. Now, how we know she really did this? In 1834, she had a big party at the house one night. There was a cook that worked in the kitchen. This cook was afraid that her young daughter was going to say or do something to anger her mistress, and she thought, oh no, that's not happening to my child. I'm at the stove. I will just start a fire and I will put all the slaves out of their misery. So folks, she starts the fire, not knowing there was an officer of the law present at the party. Now when he smells the smoke, he evacuates the guests, runs back to the kitchen to put the fire out, and the cook tells him, get up to the attic now. When he gets there, the doors are padlocked. It takes him more than 10 minutes to bust down the doors. But when he does, he's shocked and disgusted because there are 7 slaves chained from the ceiling to thick collars around their neck and then chained back against the wall. She had starved them for so long, they looked like concentration camp victims. Some of them, she whipped them so harshly, she flayed them to the bone, and because it was warm summer months, any fly landing on an open wound would make crawling maggots. These slaves begged to die, but he wanted to help them. He brought them back to the garment building, had doctors treat them, put them on display for several days. Folks, within 2 days, over 2,000 people saw what she had done. By the second night, they formed a mob, went to the mansion with bricks and torches to burn her and her family alive. Unfortunately, somebody warned them and they narrowly escaped. But in 1960, so we all believe she was the murderer. That would make her the most prolific serial killer in the state of Louisiana. So where they were letting out the school for the day, this was Homer Plessy's school. It was named for the man who was the defendant in the first civil rights case in American history, Plessy versus Ferguson.
Yeah.
Mr. Plessy was almost as white as me. He got onto the streetcar, sat down in the white section. 4 stops later, police came on board, told him to his face they were going to arrest him for being the wrong color. Well, he was not going to have that. He took the case to court. It was a landmark decision, separate but equal treatment. Now, as all of us know, separate and equal have nothing to do with each other. The only thing you could say, it was a first step towards a better direction. Yes, sir.
Sorry, what's the name of the bar?
Which bar?
The oldest one.
Oh, Jean Lafitte's blacksmith shop. But it's spelled Jean. That's how you say it in French. It would be Jean. Now, the yellow building to your right, this used to be the first United States District Court. Andrew Jackson was fined $1,000 for lipping off to Judge Xavier Hall here. The Creoles loved Mr. Jackson so much for keeping the British out of the city during that important battle. They raised that $1,000, gave him back every penny as a point of honor. Folks, this is the beautiful Cornstalk Fence Hotel. The fence is a field of corn. Wait, I'm going to get past the van and then you can take a picture. Now, corn's still got the top of the fence. Pumpkins at the bottom of the pillars. Morning glory flowers trailing up and down. Inside, you find 4-poster canopy beds, marble fireplaces, lead crystal chandeliers from Paris, France. Rooms
Just
there.
Like my house.
What?
Just like my house.
Oh, well, wonderful. Now, they always tell the tourists a fairy tale about the fence. They say Robert Ogden bought it for Antoinette Beaumonte while they were engaged because she was homesick for her daddy's corn farm in Iowa. To make her feel more comfortable and at home, he wanted her to see her very own cornfield from the bedroom window every morning. Now, it's a sweet romantic story. It's also a bunch of made-up malarkey. Antoinette grew up right here in the good old French Quarter, and being a city girl, folks, she wouldn't have known what a cornfield looked like to save her life. The real reason that fence was a love token was simply the price. 28 separate pairs of cast iron corn stalks shipped 2,123 miles down the Mississippi River to New Orleans. So, the shipping, handling, and assembly of that fence alone, being 3 times the fence's original price, made her the envy of all the desperate housewives in the French Quarter. Oh yeah, they had them even back then. Now we just
Lafayette ever stayed anywhere here?
Lafayette? Oh yeah, in fact they just had I don't know if it's still inside the Louisiana State Museum. They had a beautiful exhibit. It might still be in there of when he visited here in New Orleans. And he actually stayed in the Cabildo, which is the big building to the left of the church where they signed the Louisiana Purchase. They made over the government building just for him. Oh yeah. He was very much loved here because, I mean, he helped us win the Revolutionary War. He was like pretty much a hero to the people of New Orleans.
Of course.
Now, down the block to the right, there's 2 very popular businesses. The first one is the sign that says Masquerade. Now, they have every type of mask, from leather to feathers, paper mache to silk. They come from all over the world, anywhere from Venice, Italy down to Africa, and they go from cheap to expensive. Then right next door is the Vampire Cafe for the juiciest burgers and steaks in the French Quarter. Now, that is not... No, but their most popular cocktail is called the Blood Bag. And what it is a vodka pomegranate lemonade served in a real blood bag with a straw. Now, the woman who owns it is actually a neighbor of mine. Her name...
With that drink.
She is married. Now, this will kind of amaze you. Her and her husband Stephen are both vampires. Now, I don't mean that they live forever, turn into bats, and sleep in coffins. But what I do mean is if you'd go into the restaurant, her and him both have the real dental fangs. It is well known in the city that they drink each other's blood. There is a small community of them here in New Orleans. They've been living here a long time. You never hear about anything negative about them because they have a code of honor amongst themselves.
Correct.
They do not mess with anybody that's not into the same thing. Now, if you ask me, after meeting several of them, what I think it is, I think it's a blood fetish. But if you ask the Diagnostic Manual of Mental Health Diseases, they actually call it Renfield syndrome. They say that people who are born with a deficiency of iron in their blood have an insatiable bloodlust, and that's why they do what they do.
Not my case.
Oh, not for me either, brother. Not for me either. Tan color building with all the green shutter doors. This one is called the Presbytere. It was originally built to house the priests that send mass at St. Louis Cathedral. Now today, those priests would roll over in their graves if they knew it was the Mardi Gras Museum. Now Mardi Gras started in Europe before the Middle Ages, came to the United States, was first celebrated in Mobile, Alabama. We made it bigger, better, prettier, and funner. This restaurant with the barred windows, that is Muriel's, for some of the best contemporary Creole cuisine. But that is not why they're famous. What they're really known for is the resident poltergeist, Mr. Pierre-Antoine Leberdeau-Jourdan, a previous owner of the building. Now, a very sad ghost story. He lived here in the early 1800s. He bought the mansion for his bride-to-be. 2 weeks before the wedding took place, he did something stupid. He lost the mansion in a poker game. Now, he really loved this girl. He wrote her a letter saying, I will love you forever, but I am freeing you to find the man who can give you the house of your dreams. And he was so ashamed of what he'd done, he hung himself from the second floor. Now, as long as the restaurant sets a formal place setting for the ghost, fills 2 wine glasses with red wine, puts a bread basket on the table and the ghost's nameplate, he's a happy camper. But when they get too busy to do it or they forget to do it, pictures fly off the walls, china breaks, and wine glasses crack. Now, the best part is you don't need to believe me because 9 years ago, the TV show Ghost Hunters came to New Orleans. They paid the restaurant manager $2,000 to not set the table, and the ghost went crazy on camera. If you want to check it out for yourself, go to YouTube on your camera phone, type in Ghost Hunters New Orleans, Muriel's Restaurant Poltergeist, and you'll see all this stuff go fly through the air. Now, when we get to the corner, if you look down the street to your left, you'll see a beautiful 24-karat gold leaf statue of Joan of Arc, the Maid of Orleans. We like to call her Joni on the pony. Now, given to us as a gift from France, she was solid silver when they hauled her off the boat. She sat on Canal Street for several years. Now, along came Paris Casino Corporation. They wanted that land to build a new casino on.
Okay.
Oh, looks like you guys got the last tour of the day. Yeah, they all went in already.
Oh, yeah?
Here, this is for you and your mama. There's 2 for each of you. Get Albert.
Square Louisiana. Ông này là người sáng lập.
nắng luôn. Bây giờ cái này rồi Andre Robson. Hôm nay là thống đốc bang, thống đốc